Get It, where we attack today's local and national hottest sports topics. I'm your host, Randy Dutkin, and let's get after it.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Let's Get It. I'm your host, Randy Dutkin, along with my co-hosts, Marcus Bullock and Jason Bryce, coming to you on a Sunday evening after another Eagles loss. But before we get into that, and a lot that I have to say about Doug Peterson, about Carson Wentz. How are you doing, gentlemen? Marcus, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Good weekend. Had a good weekend. Had a good week. Everything's going well. Just grinding away at school, waiting to see what happens with this coronavirus with the schools. I'm sure something's got to be coming soon with shutdowns and all that kind of stuff. But everything's good. I'm healthy. So everything's good.
Jay, how are you, sir?
You know what? I'm doing really well. It's been a tough week. The unfortunate timing and passing of my grandfather. Dealing with a lot of raw emotions and stuff like that. Definitely had some good news, and we kind of talk about that in a little bit. But I've been doing all right. Corona still corona free. Very as Marcus said, very curious and eager to see what's happening with the school stuff, and we're going back in shutdown mode. I mean, I'm kind of already back in shutdown mode. To be honest with you, you know what I mean. Like we got to shut things down. We got to get back into our little quarantine status. You know what I mean? Because that curve is it seems like it's on an uptick, man.
Oh, it is.
So,
We've been getting the most cases now
Absolutely.
that we've had since when the virus first started.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you, just being, around the hospitals and whatnot, we got people out in England, to get tested.
Oh wow. Wow.
Just the other day when I was leaving the hospital, the drive-through testing, there must have been 25 cars in line,
Wow.
waiting to get tested.
Wow. Yeah, I heard Cherry Hill's a hotbed right now. That's what I heard. Cherry Hill and Haddonfield, somebody told me. It's a
Well,
hotbed.
I think everything is just a hotbed right now, and
It's
I think that, I feel like you said, we're all waiting to see what happens with the shutdown. I think that it's coming shortly.
Right.
I know a lot of people are really against another shutdown, and if we do another shutdown, there's going to be the financial implications. People are going to struggle to back on their feet.
Right.
But unfortunately, we kind of knew that this was the way it was going to go. It said we're going to have that wave, we're going to have the peak. It was going to die down a little bit, and then come the winter time, it was going to start to increase again.
Yeah.
But you can't be surprised with with the kids being back in school, with people being lackadaisical with masks and gatherings and things like that.
Right.
Relating it to sports, when I was watching the games today, a lot of the athletes aren't wearing masks. A lot of them are doing contact, and there was guys playing in games today, that were in contact with guys who were, had just tested positive and couldn't travel with the team. So once again, we're seeing it in the sports field, that we're seeing it that where they're getting tested all the time, that's still being traveled.
Right.
So, I hate to say it. It's going to get worse before it gets better again, but we can only hope.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
You
Right.
know.
Well, yeah. Listen, man. Hey, listen. Just wishing everybody, continue to just, as Randy used to say, hashtag do your part.
Yeah.
Please, wear your mask. But now it's like, we gotta just you probably just gotta go back and shut down for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because you got flu season coming too.
Right.
So and then nobody's going to distinguish. Like if you sneeze around me, and I'm looking at you like, well, I gotta get away from you. Even if I don't tell you that,
It's true.
I'm just like, yo, I gotta get away
Or
from
you
you.
get a little sniffle.
Right.
Yeah.
And listen, and people will say, oh, don't worry, it's just allergies. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
But in my
Yeah,
mind, like,
allergy name,
I
corona.
gotta get away from you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just the panic.
I'm going to
in
take
people.
that. I'm just kidding. Just in case it's not your allergy.
Right. Because everybody's quick to say it's allergies. You know what I'm saying? They'll be coughing and all kinds.
Right.
Oh, it's just allergies.
And it's especially hard in school because you got kids, and I teach young kids. I'm teaching preschool to 8th
Right.
grade. So these kids don't know what they're doing.
No.
So they're coughing, sneezing,
All kind of
and,
stuff.
and I'm just like,
Yeah.
all right, you go stand on that spot.
Right.
I'll be over there.
Right.
I was
And that's the thing. And
Right.
what's interesting, like I said, I just know, and I know a lot of people still are not taking the protocols as necessary, and
Right.
that's the frustrating part of it. We're sitting there seeing, and I'm hearing things from different people and different agencies saying, people aren't following the protocols, even, daycares and schools, people aren't
Right.
wearing a mask because they're supposed to.
Right.
And it's just, there's no shot that,
Right.
you know, we're at where we're at, unfortunately.
Right. No.
You know, I don't think anybody really felt like going back to school was going to work, opening things back up was necessarily going to work, but it was just that kind of, everyone, you know, it was like the double-edged sword. We all kind of wanted to creep back into some kind of normalcy, but on the other hand, we were like, well, you know,
But children,
let's try to enjoy it.
Children need to be in school. Now, they need to be in school because that's where they ultimately they can perform and learn their best. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, like, yo, you know, children need structure, they need, you know, schedule and stuff like that. But safety is paramount though. So I mean you can't like usurp that need over safety. Safety is always at the top of the line. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I think we just gotta, you know, be diligent and figure out the time. My thing is this, you know what I think about? I say, you know what? My kids are gonna always be forever learners.
For sure.
Right, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna always be forever learning. So if there's something they haven't learned during this period of time, I know that they'll be able to learn down the line at some point.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you catch it, and God forbid something happen, then you're not here to learn a damn thing.
No, and
So that's where it's like, you gotta just, that's why safety has to lead the charge. No matter what it is, no matter what you think. Because even if you went to work, even though you say you want to go to work, I want to go to work badly as I don't know what to, I need money, right? But if they said that they're going to bomb the place, you're not going to work. Because you're going to say to yourself, it's not safe. So that's what the thinking is.
Yeah.
But see, the problem is uncertainty. Uncertainty in people will drive people out of their mind.
that's where we're at now too. I think
You know what I'm
is that-
saying?
is that with people, you know, okay, are we going to go back to another shutdown? You know, based upon, you know, whether or not, you know,
Right.
you know, we're all fortunate. We're in, you know, fields where, you know, we're still able to work. We're still able to do, you know, get our income. You know, but for the people who aren't that fortunate to be in that situation,
Right.
then you know, it's wait a minute, is my money going to be impacted again? What's
Right.
going to happen? So
Right.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. You know, I know like we're going to, you know, by the time we are doing our show again, and it's even interesting. Like, you know, I was thinking about the show today. I said, how much longer are we going to be able to be, you know, in a situation when we're doing the show live like this in studio? Because we might have to get to a point again where, you know, we're not feeling that safe.
Right.
But, you know, we'll see what happens. You know, but with that said, again, we hope everything, you know, works itself out one way or the other. But I got to get into what happened today. And the Eagles lost to the New York Football Giants. At least they lost to a team with a name today.
I'm saying, why they gotta be, you know, it's just the New York Giants, you know what I'm saying? It's not really the New York Football
Everyone always
Giants.
says that. New York Football Giants.
Who says that?
People all the time, you hear it.
I don't know. We don't
Chris
say
Berman.
that.
Chris Berman was well known for saying the New York
What?
Football Giants.
Yeah, well, New Yorkers just say the Giants or Big Blue, you know what I'm saying? Respect the name, man.
Oh,
you
Big
know,
Blue.
especially after we beat y'all, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, diehard over here. He's diehard. Listen,
Respect
for
the
anyone
name, yo.
watching, just under the tonight is different. Tonight's gonna be different because I
gonna be
I
very
have some
different.
emotions about this game. I mean, you know, people always say, you know, what happened. You know, last week it was Carson, and before we even get into what happened today, you know, we have to talk about what led up to the game. You know,
Okay.
the Eagles had the bye week last week. You know, coming into this week, there was more chatter about Carson talk, more issues with Carson talk. It goes back to Brett Favre's comments saying that, you know, yeah, Carson has his abilities, Carson has a ceiling, but they should have kept Nick Foles. They should have ridden with Nick Foles. Now, for Brett Favre to come on national TV and make those statements, kind of was out of left field. You know, and I think he did that because he was talking to his good friend Doug Peterson in the off week, and Brett Favre doesn't care. Brett Favre was out to make himself a buck, and he had probably told First Take, I think it was that he was on, and said, "Oh, I have some information that you guys are going to want to hear." And he went right on, and he said, you know, he didn't leave Doug out to hang, but where else does that come from? Where does Brett Favre, who has no connection to the team, you know, get that? Oh, I think they should have kept Nick Foles. Because for him to come out, I'll let you get to it. But for him to say that, to me, there's only one source, and that was Mr. Peterson. So go ahead.
Well, I mean, he didn't leak nothing, right? I mean, it was like he leaked something, right? He took his own 2 damn eyeballs and could see what the heck's going on. Anybody could
But
see.
that's the thing, though.
I mean, he's a football Hall of Famer. Okay,
He is.
so his perspective is definitely above my perspective, and I say Nicky Foles should be there, blasting Meek Mills. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Try to
we don't know.
relieve that energy that you had. You know what I mean?
You don't even know. I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
You don't have, you know. This is all good respect. That's okay. But that's all good respect. Again, this is all, just so nobody thinks, oh man, he's going at each other. I respect him. Right now, this is coming straight from the jugular. And I can't take it this week. But the thing is, it came out of left field. And Marcus, I want to get your thoughts on it. And that's my feeling.
And that's what I agree with you. I agree with I see what Jay's saying. Like, it's not like he had insider information. I agree with that. But why? What? Brett Favre, why are you saying this today? Like, there was nobody asked him a question, nobody said anything. He just came out of the blue with it. Like, and that's like, if somebody, you had to. This was a conversation he had with someone in order for it to come up, which I agree with. But no, I'm not saying he's wrong, but like it's the timing of it's weird. There's no.
And that's my
Brett Favre, like you're irrelevant right now. So it's not like the reporters are coming to him. Hey Brett, what do you think about Carson Wentz?
Yeah, nobody called Brett and said, "Hey, come on the show and give us your feeling on Carson."
So I mean, I think he definitely, and it makes sense. He was talking to Doug Peterson. They're cool. Like whatever, that makes sense. But like I don't. He definitely came out of the blue with it, meaning he was talking to someone about it previously, or he's just trying to make it, get himself back in the.
I agree. I guess I can see that point of view, but I mean, I only want you to think about this. Who's not talking about Carson Wentz right now, making 150 something million and not performing as though he's making 500,000?
But he's not. But here's the thing, though, and this goes back to the problem. And again, I'm not saying Carson is to blame for the Eagles' struggles. There's a blame that he has to take, but the blame is now falling on. And it's so evident. Doug Peterson cannot be a head coach. When the responsibility is on him, he does not know play calling. He does not know clock management. He is not putting Carson in winning situations. Howie Roseman needs to be held accountable for not putting a team out there that has the roster to compete. Mm-hmm. And Jim Schwartz not making any adjustments to a defense. And to me, this is the coaching staff. Right now, we lost the last few games based on Doug Peterson. And to get into today's game and today's loss, there were so many times, I don't know what Doug is thinking. Doug is out there, first of all, going for two at all crazy times. And there was a time it was 21-17, Doug sitting there trying to go for two, makes zero sense. Let me tell you, everybody and their uncle was screaming at him for, why are you going for two to make it a 21-19 game when you kick the extra points, 21-18. It's just he is trying to outsmart himself. There was multiple times where on second down he brings in Jalen Hurts and runs dumb plays. Everybody knows Jalen Hurts is not throwing the football. He's running the football or handing it off. And you're putting Carson Wentz out flat. So then you put Carson in a situation where he's destined for failure because he's in a third down and 16 or 15 position. And he's got no protection on the offensive line. Jason Kelce needs to be held accountable today. He had about 5 or 6 poor snaps. So to put the blame on Carson today, no. Today is making more and more evident that Doug Peterson's clock is ticking.
He had no interceptions?
No.
I just think that, listen, at the end of the day, the head coach is the leader of the team, okay? But at the same time, the quarterback is the leader too, especially on the field. And everybody, I don't think they like him. I think they played better. I mean, this is what Brett. This is what Brett fought. See, that's the thing. You just don't want to accept that point of view. Like everybody else can see it, but you're just not willing to accept it. I'm not sure what it is. If it's because you spent the $150 million on him, or what the case may be, but they played better under Nick Foles.
Well, and I understand that, and I'm going to comment. James is commenting on watching this on Facebook, and he says Nick has better touch on his passes at this point of their careers. Neither one can escape a sack, but Nick, when here, didn't throw INTs. Facts. But okay, James, we appreciate your commentary.
Yeah, James.
Well, here's my question back to you, James. Is that when Nick was here, he was also surrounded by more talent on the offensive side of the ball, and Frank Reich was here also leading that offense, putting in Nick in positions where he was making smarter plays. The play calling by Doug right now is dumb, pure dumb.
Where's Frank right now?
Frank Reich is coaching the Colts,
What's
who
their
are
record?
6-2 in
6-2?
first place.
Oh. Wow. Who's the quarterback there? Is that in
Well, Jacoby Brissett.
for the Colts, right?
Yeah. Oh no, Philip Rivers. Excuse me.
Phillip Rivers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Phillip Rivers always been kind of. He's never won nothing, but
Well, he's
he's been consistently.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback.
He's a good quarterback.
Rivers is probably one of those quarterbacks who's going to be a fringe Hall of Famer,
Right.
based on numbers, but never really
He's,
had.
he's really good though, right? He's really good, right?
Yes.
So this is what can happen when you got a really good quarterback. Carson's just not good, bro.
No.
He's not good.
But the thing is, you have to put your quarterback in a
And,
position to win. You have to put your quarterback in a position where you're not leaving him
So
out to dry.
Phillip Rivers has always been in a position
Phillip Rivers is talking about a fringe Hall of Fame quarterback.
who never won nothing, but has just always been consistently good with whoever's been around him.
But the thing is, you got to remember too, Phillip Rivers and Carson Wentz can't even be compared. Phillip Rivers is a much better quarterback than Carson Wentz, right? And he has a long way to go to match the career of Phillip Rivers. But again, it's coming back to coaching.
You're making my point. Is what I'm saying. I don't think he's just not that good, bro.
No, I think that right now he can't be good because I think his mentally, and I'm gonna get to you, Marcus, in a second. But I think mentally, Carson doesn't have the platform to be good right now because he's checked out. I don't think he wants to be here. I don't think the team is setting him up for success.
Yeah,
And I think a lot of it falls back on Doug.
I'm gonna let it go, Coach. You go ahead, Coach. But I'm just gonna say, man, like I just can't make excuses for 150 million. That's all I'm saying. I can't make.
But again,
excuses.
the Eagles.
I'm not talking about $150. I'm talking about 150
But
million
after,
dollars.
I'm gonna go back to that. We've talked about this on other shows.
Let it go.
I'll let Coach go ahead and.
Well, speaking of 150 million, like it's like we talk about Tobias or Horford. Like you can't get mad at people for what they get paid. Like that's what they're worth at the time. That's
Sure.
what they get paid. Like so, But I think we're arguing coach, quarterback. I think they're both bad. And if you have two, like that doesn't work.
Before the end of the show is over.
Listen, because like I think I don't think Doug, and I don't think Doug's being fair to the team. Meaning, as we talked about before the show, he's the offensive coordinator, and they don't even have anybody as a name in that position. So
Right.
he's so focused on the offense that the game, the bigger picture for him is he can't see that. So
I agree with that.
when the
Yes.
defense is on the field, he should be, back with the offense, talking
Right.
about this is what happened, this is what. But from what I've seen, especially in the past, Carson's over there by himself looking at iPads.
And that's a very good point. Very good point.
So even if you had a offensive coordinator who's just not, Doug, you're still running the offense, but this guy's the offensive coordinator. Now at least Carson has somebody to go. This is my guy.
Right.
So that when this is my guy, and Doug can now focus on more things and see bigger picture. I think Doug gets so caught up in offense, this, that he's not coaching the game anymore. And I think that's where things go wrong a lot of the time is when you focus. And I know as a basketball coach, if I just were to focus on one half of the court, we're not going to do well.
Right.
No, and that goes back to when we even again why the Eagles had, and that again I think it starts at the top, and that's where I think this organization is struggling right now because Jeffrey Lurie, I don't know where you are at looking at what the product's on your field because Jeffrey Lurie only cares about his pockets as an owner, and as long as the product on the field, or as long as the Eagles fans continue to support the team, I don't think he's really paying attention, but he needs to pay attention. Howie Roseman needs to be held accountable. And like you were saying though about Carson and not anyone over there talking with him in between games. The only person they really have is Press Taylor, the quarterback's coach. But again, this also is what falls on Carson. Carson, to me, is very stubborn. Carson does not look like he wants to change to become a better quarterback, and that's where the blame does fall on Carson. Listen. I'm not going to sit here and say Carson, that's my guy. Carson is not being put in successful situations, but Carson also is not making the changes to his game to become a better quarterback. And that's what I think is frustrating the organization also. I've said it in other shows that as soon as they have the option to get out of this contract, if, like I said, in 2 seasons, and after this season, after next season, when they can get out of that contract, Carson Wentz will not be in the Eagles uniform anymore. I don't believe that at all. And I think that, and there's start to be some chatter, and I wouldn't be surprised, but I think that you're going to be surprised at what's going to happen after this season if this is the trend we go down. Because look, right now the team is, sitting there struggling, and today's loss on top of everything is just another snowball. The Eagles may not win a game again until Christmas if you look at their schedule.
Well, listen, I did hear they have some tough teams they're about to play. I just don't want to, that's like saying that Tobias is in, because you brought Tobias Harris, he's getting paid like that, kind of. They're very comparable. But we can't make that excuse that, Tobias is not being put in those situations for him to be successful, right? We just say that, listen, your game is limited. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can see that, your game is limited. Like, you paid a lot of money, but, I'm not really confident with you going one-on-one and going to get a bucket when we need one. You know what I'm saying? He's not the type of player. So that was just bad judgment, management, and paying him, blah, blah, poor decision-making. And I would agree now, you want to talk about Roseman and Laurie and whoever else, because they're the brain trust that gave Carson an average quarterback $150 million.
But they, again,
he is, he's average.
He is, look, right now he is average, and I agree that. So but here's the thing: we go back, and I've said it on multiple times on other shows.
Right.
The Eagles backed themselves into a corner by having to give Carson that money because of what they mortgaged to go up and get him. If they didn't sign him and they let him go, and they would have said, "Wait a minute, you just mortgaged your draft future, and then you let this guy go. You don't sign him to a long-term deal."
But they signed him after the Super Bowl, right?
They did.
Right.
But the thing they also do it because you got to remember too, if they franchise him and they continue to franchise him, financially they're still on the hook. But financially they were still smarter to sign him because you're still paying him less per year than they would have if they waited.
But you could have got rid of him after this year, though.
But what helped Carson get that deal was him being hurt, because that was always the underlying excuse of why he was playing the way he was, because he's hurt. He got hurt here. Now it's his knee. This year he didn't do well, but he had a broken back. And I'm not saying that didn't affect it, but it was never, because when he was healthy, he went 11 and whatever,
11-3.
Whatever it was. So that's what they had to go on as a healthy Carson. So we never really got to see him healthy playing once he got hurt that first time.
Right.
And I think that really helped him
Maximize his.
it was just like,
absolutely,
look, you saw what I could do when I'm healthy. I haven't been there yet, but I'm healthy now.
Right.
So they had to pay him.
He's average. He's just not that good.
No, listen, and it takes a lot for me to acknowledge this because I've been a huge Carson supporter, and I still am.
Right.
But like I said, I think it's right now because of what's going on. When they drafted Jalen Hurts, first of all, I think it was a shot in the back to him. Because they're saying, wait a minute, you're sitting here and I'm supposed to be your franchise quarterback, yet instead of getting me a piece that's going to help me, you go and you draft this gimmick quarterback, or are you drafting my replacement in 2 years? So either way, if I'm Carson, I'm looking at Howie Roseman, I'm looking at the front office saying, what have you done to support me right now? And again, I hate to say this too, in 2017, when the Eagles had a much different defense. The Eagles had a team full of leaders, which they don't have now. There's a lot of different.
They gave up a lot of that because they had to pay him the money, right?
Sure.
Now, I mean,
They had to pay him the money.
Well, guys also moved on.
But I mean, you gotta admit that in order to pay Carson that $150, they gotta cut some guys.
But again, the thing. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that goes back to the Howie Roseman thing.
Right,
like,
absolutely.
Right.
When you have guys like, all quarterbacks are getting paid.
Sure.
So it's just a matter of now you have to draft well. So
Right.
now you're not.
We haven't drafted well in the
right.
last 5 seasons.
You can't.
Right.
It's not the NBA where you can. All right, let's just go sign this free
Right.
agent. You can't do that in the NFL.
Right.
You got to draft well. You got to have guys ready to come up, and the Eagles just don't have that. And then they're old. When they won the Super Bowl, they had an older team.
Yeah, they
were,
You know, and then they never replaced that through the draft. They just kept trying to fix it, and we'll trade this guy, and that's going to catch up, and that's catching up to them now.
And it is. I mean, like you got guys. I mean, how much money we have sitting on the sidelines? I mean,
Right.
Alshon Jeffrey sitting there, And Alshon Jeffrey was huge. But I was saying, here's the thing: is that this team after the Super Bowl sat back and did not make the change. They didn't keep the pedal on, the foot on the pedal, if you ask me. And Howie Roseman and the Eagles have always tried to say that they are thinking outside the box, thinking that they're ahead of everybody else. When you know what? Sometimes they need to fall in line and see what's working all over the NFL. Right. And that's the problem. Like this draft pick of Jalen Hurts was just so dumb. Such a dumb pick when there were so many other areas this team also drafted no linebackers in the draft when we needed linebackers.
And he was projected to go 4th round anyway.
4th round. You could have got him. Nobody would have complained if you took him because you could have taken the 2nd and 3rd round. You could have gotten secondary help. You could have got linebacker help. And those would have been the smart picks. And the thing that frustrates Philadelphia fans the most is that they are smart fans. They're in tune with the game. They know what we need. When we go and we're outside the box and we're outside, the draft picks that we see, that is what infuriates it. Maybe if you would have taken a linebacker who maybe was projected to go mid-3rd and you took him low 2nd and you're saying, we're just really high on this guy, okay, at least you addressed an area of need. Right. But they don't address the areas of need, and now it's showing even more.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I agree with you. I believe that Howie Roseman and the Eagles Brain Trust, they made a major mistake, and the major mistake was not signing Nick Foles, man. Just like you talk about all the other players they let go. They let go of this and let go of that and this and that. They didn't keep their foot on the gas. That's where they let it off. Now they did it. They did good after the Super Bowl, right? They did, right? They signed him. They signed him, and guess what? They were able to activate him, and if I'm not mistaken, he brought life back to the Eagles in that year after the Super Bowl. Okay, so the problem is that I just think that they gave the wrong guy the money. I think that's what it is.
But the thing is, people like to say this.
No, but it's true though. I mean,
Nick Foles. What's Nick Foles doing in Chicago? What's Nick Foles doing in Chicago?
But what did he do for Philadelphia?
But here's the thing, though.
What did he do for Philadelphia?
There's no reason to keep him. There's no reason to keep him. The thing is, you couldn't keep Nick.
Why?
Because because the organization would look like a clown. You would have looked like a clown as an organization if you keep Nick and you get rid of Carson.
Well, wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. Carson, at that time, if they kept Nick, when Carson got hurt and they went to the Super Bowl, that was his, 3rd year? Or 2nd year?
That was Carson's second.
That was Carson's 2nd year. So he could have still sat back on the bench a little bit and continued to develop.
But you can't sit there and you draft a franchise quarterback and give up that and mortgage the future for a guy that you mortgage the future for and let him sit there for 2 or 3 seasons. Also, Carson showed at the time, with the right coaching, we thought that he was the man. So, again,
I mean, I just think that, I think part of it also, I think that.
No, we appreciate that, James, though. You're right, though.
The league has to catch up. Once the league catches up to you, then you now have to kind of.
And that goes back.
You got to kind of now know how to do your thing and still survive. I seen it happen with RG3, right? RG3 came out, oh man, everybody loved him. He was this, he's going to change the blah, 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 blah. When the league caught up, RG3 was no more good. And that happens, you know what I'm saying? So I think at that time, nobody really understood Carson, you know what I'm saying? They try to understand. They didn't really know how to scout him or scheme for him. But now they do. They know what he's going to do.
Because if I'm a team, I'm not even worried about scheming for the Eagles. I'm just going to let Doug Peterson make the mistakes because he's going to put the win in your hand.
I mean, he brought you a Super Bowl.
Doug Peterson did not bring us a Super Bowl.
Yes, he did.
Frank Reich and John DeFilippo and his staff, obviously it shows how much of an impact they had on that team. And they're the ones. You got to forget, Nick Foles suggested Philly. It wasn't like Doug P was like, I got the perfect play. So we're seeing how much that Doug, when the pressure's on him, can't perform.
But wait a minute. Hold up. He suggested Philly to who?
To Doug.
And Doug gave what?
He
gave the authority, right?
He said, let's do it.
Okay, but he deserves the credit, man. He deserves credit, man. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm thankful for Doug. I'm thankful for the Super Bowl. But here's the thing. It
don't sound like it. No. It sounds like,
how long are you?
That's 20.
How long does the Super
Coach.
Bowl get you? Like I get it. Yeah, like he won the Super Bowl. I'm with all that. Okay, but that doesn't mean you can just be bad now and everything's okay.
I listen. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. But I think that the major mistake was Carson. I don't
Okay,
blame
and
this
that's
on.
fine. Okay.
I think you have to get rid of Carson and let Doug pick who he wants
No, I think,
as a quarterback.
but Doug is showing. The thing is, it's not even about the QB right now. Doug is not even. I think Doug's pulling at straws right now because the pressure is getting to him. I don't think his time management, his game scheme.
What was the name? What was the score of the game?
27-17.
Okay, so I mean, the Eagles gave up 27 points. Is that terrible? Is that terrible?
Well, again, that's.
I'm not saying it's good, but I'm just saying, is that like terrible?
Well, here's and I was going to bring this up. Like the defense has never been good.
Okay.
No, I mean,
And
the
I'm not
Super
talking
Bowl
about
gave
this
up
year,
33
and that's
points.
my point. Like
Right.
they give up 500 something
500,
crazy
yeah,
to Brady. Like so,
Right.
it wasn't like the defense was like shutting people down or anything like that. The defense has always been a problem.
They were able to
But
respond.
we had playmakers.
But offensively, they were able to just match whatever the other team did.
But the other thing too was, and this team on the defensive side, the front, we don't have the play. We're not getting that big play, and that's the thing.
Right.
When the Eagles had their success, they always had the big pick. They always had the big strip sack.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Brandon Graham, Derek Barnett, Fletcher Cox, they're still doing their thing. They're getting to the. But the thing is too, we have no secondary, no linebackers, so we're not even giving them a chance to get to the quarterback anymore because all you got to do is these quick throws against the Eagles defense, and you're going to just march down the field.
Yeah, I think Carson's giving you nothing. I think you got to find a way to get out of that contract sooner than later. I even think that you might as well. I mean, to your point where you're saying, I mean, you drafted Jalen Hurts, you might as well start, giving him a look.
Let me tell you something, and I would not be surprised if that happens. But the thing is, you won't be able to go back to Carson if you make that move.
Stick to that move.
You gotta stick with Carson. You gotta stick with Carson because once you bring in Jalen Hurts, then you have to do that in the mindset of we're gonna look to move Carson, and we want to see what we have.
Well, wait a minute. They went from Nicky Foles to Carson.
No, we went from Carson to Foles back to Carson.
No, Foles was ahead of Carson at first, right?
No,
He was never ahead of.
no, he was brought in.
He was
as a backup.
so
and there's a
Foles was as
reason
a
Nick
backup.
Foles is a backup. Nick
Okay.
Foles caught lightning in a bottle the year that they went to the Super Bowl.
No, but who did Carson take over for?
Oh well, shoot, the year that he. Now I got to go back and look at
Go
2016.
back and look. You know what
But
I'm
it
saying?
doesn't- but it doesn't-
Took over for Nick Foles, if I ain't mistaken,
No, but here's the thing, though.
right?
You
Who
got-
else took out? Who else was there?
Carson's rookie year,
Right, he wasn't a starter.
he started from the beginning of the year.
Yes,
He started
Carson-
from the first game of the
yes,
year.
Yeah, Carson was the starting quarterback.
The rookie. Oh, right.
Yes.
Okay, but who was in camp with him?
I'd have to go back and
The
look.
boy, the dude that they brought from the Chiefs.
Oh,
what's his name?
no. I know you're talking about. All right.
I'd have to go back and
Can't
look.
think of his
But
name.
Well, anyway, listen. At the end of the day, I'm gonna be honest with you. Yo, he garbage, son. Garbage. Garbage.
no, but and it's
Garbage, yo.
You can say you
Hey,
want,
garbage,
but I'm sick and
son.
tired of the Nick Foles talk because here's the thing, though, too. Everywhere Nick Foles has gone, everywhere he's gone, he has sucked. He caught lightning in a bottle a couple times in his career, but in the long term, he's not the answer either. With that said, we're going to cut to a quick commercial break. When we come on back, we'll be talking about Isaiah Thomas, Michael Jordan, some Sixers talk. You're watching Let's Get It, and we'll be right back after this.